Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for coming. I hope everyone got lunch before this session. If not, I will get us through as fast as I can. Really excited to be spending part of this afternoon with you all. My name is Ellysse Dick El-Shrafi. I'm a policy manager at Meta, where I spent the last 4 years supporting the Reality Labs teams, building bleeding-edge technology to bring people closer together. And before that, I was a policy researcher for a think tank doing AR/VR policy research and looking at how these emerging technologies are going to affect society in the future. That's what I spend most of my time thinking about. That's what I've thought about for the last 10 years, and I'm obviously super fun at parties. I'm here today because I want to talk about the inflection point that we're at. We're at this pivotal moment in technological history where human-centric AI is advancing at an unbelievable rate. And at the same time, we are bringing these wearable devices into the picture and combining the two to create something completely novel and a new way to experience the world. This technology promises to fundamentally enhance human experience and our lives, offering real-time assistance and seamless interaction with the world. But this transformation is not guaranteed. Before we jump into what I mean by that, I want to share with you some of the core beliefs that brought me here today. The first one is that I believe generative AI has the potential to enhance human capabilities, increasing personal empowerment and agency in new and exciting ways. At Meta, you might have heard us call this personal superintelligence. I also believe that the future of human connection is not in our hands. It's in front of our eyes. The way that wearables are going to change the way that we interact with the world, and specifically the glasses form factor, is going to allow us to seamlessly interact with augmentative technologies and the world around us at the same time in ways that we have not been able to before with other communications technologies. And finally, and I think most important for here at United XR, I believe we can't realize this future alone. The promise of personal superintelligence will be realized through an integrated ecosystem where everyone from consumers to developers to the public sector have an important role to play. Now, before I jump into the rest of my presentation, I want to share this quote from Mark Zuckerberg talking about personal superintelligence earlier this year in a blog post. Mark says, "As profound as the abundance produced by AI may one day be, an even more meaningful impact on our lives will likely come from everyone having a personal superintelligence that helps you achieve your goals, create what you want to see in the world, experience any adventure, be a better friend to those you care about, and grow to become the person you aspire to be." Meta's vision is to bring personal superintelligence to everyone. We believe putting this power in people's hands to direct it toward the value in their own lives. In other words, we at Meta are building AI to enhance the individual lives of every person we can possibly reach with this technology. And we genuinely believe that wearables is the vehicle that will make this happen. This is not the first time that society has grappled with innovations that are going to require a shift in social norms, privacy expectations, and the way that we as humans interact with each other and experience the world. There's a little device you might have heard of that caused quite a stir when it was released. It was said this technology was going to be the end of privacy in public life, that businesses were posting signs left and right, preventing the use of this technology in their establishments, and legal and policy experts were diving into the implications of our future if this device were to become a part of the world and of society. Can anyone guess what these critics were talking about? Try again. All right, it's not wearables, it's not even cell phones. This was a reaction to the Kodak Brownie, the first handheld camera introduced in the early 1900s. So as we can see, this is not a new conversation. The technology itself might be new on the scene, but these are discussions we have been having as a society for over a century. So a quick history lesson. 1900s, we have the personal camera, the Kodak Brownie. People are going crazy, wondering what this means on beaches, in public. People are concerned that man will no longer have a private life because these cameras are out in the world. Anyone can own them. Anyone can take pictures. Surely this is the end of society as we know it. Slowly, the personal camera becomes a regular part of society. People know what a camera is. They know when they see it in someone's hands. And most importantly, people find value in this personal camera that lets them capture parts of their daily lives or important moments that they can treasure forever. In the 2000s, we start seeing camera feature phones. These phones allow you to take perhaps not the greatest photos, but don't require you to bring a large, bulky camera with you. You can snap a photo in the moment with a device that you probably already have in your pocket. By the 2010s, we're seeing smartphones. We see people taking photos not only to retain for themselves, but also to share, to upload to different platforms, to remix, to play with. Suddenly, being able to capture moments in time means so much more than it did 100 years ago. And today, we are at AI wearables. We have the Meta Ray-Bans right here that allow you to take pictures not only with a device that is on your person, but a device that can see what you see and experience the world from your perspective. The questions that I talked about with privacy and safety and the ability to have a private versus public life really do compound when camera technology shows up to society in new ways, whether you're talking about feature phones, smartphones, or AI wearables today. There's always this fear, and the primary fear that we hear from consumers is that it will enable discrete photography in unsuspecting places. While this is still a risk, I think we can safely say the camera phone has become a core part of smartphones. And there's a robust public understanding, just like people got comfortable with the handheld camera, of what a phone can be used for and the kinds of photos and videos it can capture. And notably, that's true even without a shutter sound or a visual indicator, which would have previously, with the handheld camera, enabled people to take steps to protect their or others' privacy. So now, we're setting new norms and expectations. For example, there are clubs or venues with no phone policies, or even bags that you have to put your phone in so you can't take a photo while you're there. Some stores or art galleries might have no camera signs and have people there enforcing that rule. And it's been popular increasingly at weddings to request no phones during the ceremony. I actually did this myself earlier this year to relative success. What this history suggests is that glasses and wearables are a new iteration in this evolution of visual capture, and people are still getting used to this form factor. So why am I telling you all of this? For this new technology to be successful, we must move into an era where cameras are expected on these kinds of devices. Like cell phones, we imagine it's going to take time for public awareness to change, and we've invested a lot in helping this transition here at Meta. So why do we want to invest all of this energy, all of this time, all of this social and political capital in normalizing glasses? Well, we really do think that these are the future of human interaction, and we're already seeing some of that today on our devices that we have available. As we move towards superintelligence on wearables, these cameras are shifting from being a tool for user-initiated shareable capture to becoming a contextual sensor that allows users to enhance their individual lives. Imagine things like real-time translation during a spontaneous conversation, ambient guidance on landmarks as you walk through a city, or contextual experience for a new recipe at the grocery store. This seamless value, this ability to interact with the world directly through a device that sees what you see without having to put anything in front of your face, in your hand, or take a beat from the moment that you're in, is where we see the value of these devices. Many of these things are possible today. We have multimodal AI, we have translation, we have AI assistant features on these glasses already. And of course, there are multiple AI wearable devices on the market today that have at least some of these functionalities. And this is really only the beginning. In the future, ambient AI is going to last longer and provide richer information to enhance daily lives. And augmented reality will only expand this potential by actually not only seamlessly integrating information on your wearables, but also seamlessly integrating digital content with physical life. So as we transition into this era of AI-centric glasses that can see and listen to and assist users over extended periods, we are entering a new period where cameras are used both by the end user and by computer vision for AI functionalities. In other words, we're moving from a paradigm of event-based capture to contextual processing. That's going to require a fundamental shift in our assumptions about and expectations around existing privacy norms. Let me give you some examples. To provide continuous contextual assistance, AI must constantly process a user's environment. So what does data governance look like when the system's core function is to be constantly processing information? What does data minimization look like in a world where data is the core of the product? Similarly, gaining explicit consent for every moment of capture, for every passing person, every item or object that you see, is going to introduce unworkable friction and render personal AI features effectively useless. We would never reach this vision of an AI future where people have this personal superintelligence that enhances their individual lives if there are this many hoops they have to jump through to even receive information about the world around them. So just as personal cameras, basic cell phones, and smartphones ultimately led to shifting social norms, we should expect AI wearables to do the same if consumers believe the technology is worth the trade-off. As an industry, we should think carefully about whether the introduction of AI-assistive capabilities, in addition to media capture, call for a change of our approach. Collectively, we're trying to solve the problem of how we introduce new capabilities without what I'm going to call signal fatigue. So there are two key factors I want us to keep in mind here. The first is that, as I said at the beginning, the source of society and individual bystanders' concerns that we're trying to solve for has not changed in the last 100 years. The top issue continues to be the potential for malicious, user-initiated active capture, that is, of images that someone can download, share, remix, and retain. We call this active media capture here at Meta. Things like saying, hey Meta, take a picture, or using the button on the glasses themselves to take a photo. The other thing I want us to make sure we're thinking about, though, is that over-signaling is a real and growing issue. Consumers are receiving more and more information about what is being collected, what devices are in the world, what is happening around them, and there can be a point where this becomes so oversaturated that it is simply useless information. As people rely more heavily on AI capabilities on the glasses, that glasses camera could be in use to enable those features for longer and longer periods of time persistently. So there's a key difference between the camera being used with the intention of saving or sharing the images, capturing an image for myself, the glasses user, compared to the camera being used to perform contextual AI queries on an image to help meet a user's need. Like when a user asks, what kind of tree is this? Or, hey, translate this. When it's able to see what's around you and then answer the question, that's not the same as an active capture of media that there is going to be retained. With this in mind, I submit that we as an industry, we as a society, and we as people who care about solving these issues and driving mass adoption of these devices should focus on what matters most to people the users might encounter while wearing the devices with cameras. Namely, that's active media capture. And the most effective approach to mitigating these concerns will evolve over time, just as we saw approaches to signaling with cameras, with camera phones, and with smartphones evolve as the technology became more ubiquitous and understood. A future that balances innovation and evolving norms is not just possible. It's an imperative to realizing the potential of these technologies. The ultimate goal is bystander awareness and social comfort, achieved through a mix of education, responsible design, and clear, uniform industry practice. We must work together to adopt a shared approach to defining and addressing the core public concern, user-initiated media capture with the intent to store and share. Differing approaches could lead to bystander confusion and diminish the value of any signal. So, this session is not Ellysse stands in front of you and talks about signal capturing. This session is cross-sector solutions. So I have a few that I would like to propose. I think there are a couple of actions that we can take today to start building this future together. Whether you're here in the room as an industry peer to Meta, as a developer interested in integrating wearables into your own work, or as someone from a public sector or nonprofit organization who wants to make sure that this technology is being built responsibly and safely. The first is user and public education. What we really need to be doing is bringing consumers along on this journey. And to do that, we need to ensure that individuals and communities are aware of these technologies and understand what they are and are not capable of. Whether it's hands-on introductions to devices or more wide-reaching public education initiatives, we should make sure we are not leaving non-technical audiences behind. And I'm saying this in a room of people who I know understand what I'm saying and understand what technology is. Remember, if this is being mass adopted and truly being used to change lives around the world, we need to make sure that the people who don't already know what active capture versus AI data processing is, or don't know what an LLM is, or aren't able to explain in clear terms like we might be able to be. We have to make sure that those are the people that we're bringing along with us, because those are the people that need to feel the most comfortable with this technology. On that note, collaborative design is going to be a huge part of this effort. We already see wearables having measurable impact in certain communities. If you went to our main stage session with Matt Sanders earlier today, you've heard that blind and low vision users are using these camera-enhanced AI glasses to translate visual information into audio cues, essentially allowing the glasses to see for them. Now, we like to share that example not because we want to toot our own horn and be excited about the accessibility use cases of this technology, even though we very much are. We didn't set out to build glasses for blind people, but this is an exciting use case that we've uncovered by working with communities where we think there may be additional value. And so this is something we as an industry should make sure that we're really focused on. We have to continue to unearth the outsized value of these technologies and understand their potential impact on different communities. We need to make sure that both device manufacturers like Meta and feature developers are prioritizing input from a wide range of groups, even, and this calls again to looking outside this room, if that means looking past our comfort zone of venues like the one that we're in today. The final thing I want to call out, and this is where I think there's the most opportunity to work together in this particular forum, is industry norms. Clear, consistent expectations for consumers will facilitate adoption and encourage a gradual shift of social norms to accommodate these. Working together across sectors can help us identify where it makes the most sense to standardize approaches to bystander concerns around active capture specifically, but also how to address other concerns that we may see emerge as this technology becomes more widely adopted. So, I have a couple of calls to action for you all today. The first, if you're interested in everything that I just said about AI and active capture and how we at Meta are starting to think about this, I encourage you to take a look at this white paper that we produced earlier this year talking about those distinctions. We also welcome feedback and thoughts. If you have a chance to look at this, please let me know. The other point that I want to call out that I think may have come up if you, again, came to our main stage session earlier, is last week we launched the developer preview of our device access toolkit. This is going to allow developers to actually build integrations with our audio and camera features on our wearable devices. Right now, it's a preview, so you can start playing around with it, download the kit, see how it will work, and prepare for the ability to publish these integrations in the coming year. The reason I want to bring this up is this truly is an effort of all of us together. And part of that means finding the uses that are valuable for a broad range of users. We as Meta are not equipped to cover the entire world and the entire spectrum of use cases. So I call on everyone here not only to work together on those 3 points that I mentioned earlier, but also to really take some time to think about how you can contribute to the adoption of these technologies by adding value and unlocking the potential that we've already started to see with the early iterations of these glasses. You know, we've conducted user research, engagements with experts around the world, and we've incorporated feedback to bring together our approach to signaling at the point. And at the start of this talk, I shared some core beliefs that I formed through those engagements, and that continue to motivate me to stay in this work. I hope they resonate with all of you now, especially thinking about how we as an industry can work together. Everyone in this room has chosen to be a part of this seismic evolution. If you take one thing away from this, I hope it's this: cooperation across industry, civil society, and the public sector is the only way to unlock the full potential of AI wearables and personal AI technologies, and cement our industry's place in the history of personal computing. Thank you for taking this step with me, and please come find me over the course of the week if you have ideas on how we can work together.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellysse. So we have like 1 minute for many, many questions. So I'm starting from here.
Thank you very much for your talk. My name is Ali. I'm from London, and I know many of your friends actually in Meta. I think we were one of the first group who got the Meta Aria version 1. And until we actually sort out the legal kind of paperwork between Gen 1 to Gen 2, actually took like 1 year if you want to give one device to multiple people. So for devices like the one that you're actually wearing now, it's called like a personalized device. It has limited kind of capacity of computing or capturing stuff. But some of the devices, which is more like a project-based, collaboration-based, has a lot of legal paperwork for us to just get hands on it. So how does that change in the future to have a much better way of letting a lab to use one device for research rather than one person assigned to one device?
That's a great question. Quite frankly, the way that we're viewing these technologies is more as a personal device, so think comparable to a cell phone. The idea is that it is attuned to you and that it knows what you're looking for. That being said, I think this is one of the exciting things about this developer toolkit that we've released, is the ability to, we would love for someone like you to go in and play around with it, see where you hit snags when trying to create something, that an integration that would work with multiple users. And that's the kind of thing that we can explore as we're smoothing out the kinks in the developer toolkit and preparing it for launch. I think that would be an area where we would really appreciate feedback.
Thank you. So I saw many questions, but unfortunately we have like 30 seconds. So I think, so somewhere there. Yeah, we are recording it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, can you comment on the idea that one type of solution to the problems you elaborated on would be to opt for localized models and local on-device processing with local dedicated LLMs, but which would be maybe diametrically opposed to the sets of incentives that a company such as Meta has to collect data. Can you comment on that tension?
Absolutely. First of all, I don't think it is a tension. I think there are roles for large, broad models that feed in from everywhere, and I think there is absolutely a future where personalized models are going to play a role, especially as these devices are more and more part of our private and personal lives. So I don't have anything to share today about our work in that area, but just know that it is something that we're tracking, and we are actively considering what model training and use looks like in a context where some of the data that's going to be processed is not data that you want necessarily being used for broader model training. Happy to talk in more detail if you want to find me afterwards. I'm happy to stick out there for a little bit.
Thank you.